Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday. Beginning at 2 p.m., and that's on the Eastern Time Zone, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us syndicated on television, and that is through Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. All social media sites, you can find us there as well. Continue sending emails. It makes my day. Donna at donnasedge.com. That's Donna at donnasedge.com. Now, with me, a good friend. His name is Rick Staines. Has been with the show the whole 20 years. Almost the whole 20 years. Yeah, it's been a long time. So thank you for your presence. And it's always interesting to hear someone who is not from the United States talk about, like, now you've lived in another country, you live here. And it looks like this country has just went nuts. I mean, at least half the country. So what are your thoughts about what happened, the No King rally, where if we really had a king, we wouldn't have had rallies to begin with? Okay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. It's hard to put into words when you see people actually protesting something that is completely wrong. They don't understand what they're protesting, for a start. Holding up signs that have no relevance to them or their age group, and then when questioned about them, they can't even answer the questions because they've just taken the dollar to be there, and that's what a lot of them. They just took the money to be there to, these small gatherings to protest absolutely nothing. What was achieved by that? Nothing. What they were saying that Trump was a king because the army had their 250th birthday. It was Trump's birthday, and therefore, it was him being a typical kind of monarch. And it's like, well, no. Originally, apparently, they were talking about George Washington being called Your Highness, but they just decided against it. They said, no, it's president, and that will be something that's voted on by the people. And that's what we've got. We haven't got a king. We do have a republic, which it's not really a democracy, but it is kind of, but it's not really. And these people think that we're under a monarchy, which is completely different. And I'm British, and we had the monarchy. And believe me, if you were under a king, you wouldn't get to do half of the things that you can do now without being locked up or put to death.
I thought that was pretty interesting too, because the same news organizations who are saying that Trump wants to be king, thinks he is, blah 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 blah, they're going gaga over Prince Charles and and all this coronations and things they have over there. If it's okay for him to be king, then if Trump were king, I mean, what are you fighting for? I really don't understand the fight.
Well, you also have to understand that the royal family in the UK are literally just figureheads. They make lots of money, they bring in lots of tourists, but they have very little power, little actual power. They just are figureheads for the country and for the Commonwealth. So, it's not like the old kings of old when, if they said something, it was decreed and it was done.
Off with your head.
Off with your head, all of that stuff, Oh, you can pay more taxes. Why? Because I want you to pay more taxes. There was no real rhyme or reason. There was no talking about it. The king just said, I want more taxes, and you had to pay more taxes. So we don't have that here.
Yeah, you cannot pay your taxes. And there are plenty of incidences where people are getting fake checks. They're getting return checks. There was one, it was like a post office box in Atlanta, Georgia, where money was being funneled into this P.O. box, over $2 million, I think it was. They never caught on to it. It looks like it wouldn't have reached the stage of $2 million.
Yeah. Well, again, they complained about Doge. Who set up Doge? Who originally talked about Doge? It was Obama, way back. It's just that he talked about it and nothing was done. The only reason they don't like Trump and Elon is because they were actually doing something and actually highlighting all of this wasted money. And you'd think that they would be happy that we were getting highlighting wasted money that could be used for better things. And they're complaining about it. And their complaint was, well, now they have our social security numbers. They've got your social security number anyway. They issued it to you.
I know it.
They have your driving license. They have your picture. They know who you are. They know everything about you, pretty much.
It's like the same people who argue, because I'm doing TikTok now. I don't know how many people have said, they're going to know all about you. And I'm like, they already do. I mean, what do you think Facebook's about? I mean,
if you have a government ID, they know about you. If you have a social security number, they know about you. How do you think that they can tell you when you're coming up for retirement that you're coming up for retirement? Because they track it. They know exactly how much they're going to be paying you, when they're going to be paying you, and how they can pay you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you can turn around and say, well, you can go under the radar, unless you literally go under the radar, which means then you can have no contact with the outside world. You literally would have to destroy everything and not have any cell phones, any contact, any bank accounts, no nothing.
Yeah, but the happiest people I know are the ones who don't have the contact. I actually know preppers. I'm interviewing them. And I have to tell you, these preppers are like the smartest people you'll ever meet. This guy right here, his name is Ron Foster, and he has written several books. This is The Longest Walk. This is what would happen if something happened to the grid. And he's talking about, the cars and all that kind of stuff. This guy knows how the Old Farts Survival Guide is one of his books, and it is chock full of information. But talk about this stuff all the time. The only way you can really not have contact, really, you can literally live off the land. I've learned so much from this guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at take me for instance. I bought a farm, okay, and you go like, okay, I bought a farm. Do I own that farm? No, I never will. They're still charging me tax on that farm. Until they change the law, I'm paying tax. And if I don't pay the tax, they come and take that farm for what I owe them in taxes, then how much it's worth. If I decide that I want electricity put to that farm, the government for my local area, they turn around and say, okay, well, you've got an electricity pole there, means that you've got power, which means you must have, a residence there, which means that you need a septic tank. You have to have a septic tank and a well. Okay, so you can't live on that land even if you wanted to without having a septic tank and a well, because you now have electricity on there. So everything that you do leads to something that they know, and so for it to be like any of that, you'd have to be self-sufficient, generating your own electricity, and you can do that if you want to. Waste disposal, all of that stuff. And you'd have to be very creative with it, because as humans, we make a lot of waste. So where do you put it? What do you do? Burn it? Okay, because then if you burn it and people see it, then they obviously know that you're living there. So it's very, very difficult. You can do it, but you can't go under the radar forever, because someone will tell you where you are, or someone will stumble across you, unless you're very smart.
Well, it's a small world after all. It really is. Because you can Google Earth.com, you can zero down on anybody. Yeah. It's just all over the place. It's easy to do.
It is very small. When we talk about this country and people going like, well, this country is crazy with the politics, it's no different from any other country. If you look at it in reality, you look at Britain right now, they've got the Labour government go in. They've created more problems than they've solved. They're backtracking on what they said originally. Then they've had to go back and try and fix it. Now they're opening up this inquiry about the grooming gangs, and the reason being is because there was such a public outcry, they were going to let it slide under the table. But it's actually really bad, So people can look at us and go like, well, your politics is really bad. The politics is bad pretty much everywhere. Politics is politics. It's bad.
But what's not to understand? Okay. So let's talk about illegal aliens. Okay. And I've had people send me, oh, you just hate people who are not from here. And I said, you think I hate my daughter-in-law? My daughter-in-law is actually from Russia. And no one gets more upset than she does about the illegals giving money and their clothes washed and all this kind of stuff. So, right. Don't people understand? Okay, the same people who said you have to wear a mask, you got to get the jab, all this kind of stuff, are perfectly okay with illegals crossing the border without a mask on or getting the jab when they come across the border.
A lot of this stuff. Sorry, I'm just muting my stuff because it's annoying me. Yeah, I mean, all of the stuff that we did, like, again, goes back to this. There's no kings. We were being told what to do, and people were following the rules because that's what they were told to do during COVID for no rhyme or reason. And if you were a sensible person, like the few of us that were, and you'd sit there going like, well, that makes no sense whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And even when they started like remasking, going, and you got people walking around going like, well, you know, you should remask. Why? You already know that what they were telling you was a pack of lies, and now you want to listen to it all again. You only get one chance. The Americans actually, people go like, well, they're a bunch of, no, you get one chance with Americans. You lie once, you can't do it again. And that's why they can't do the whole stuff, all of that again. Because people are just going, oh, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, but think about this. Okay, let's just say that the government wants to do the depopulation thing. They want to get rid of the stupid people first. You're a target if you got that mask still on. I mean, I'm sorry.
Well, you wouldn't really have to worry about it because you could just pick anybody that was a Democrat and you're done. You've already got your selection. It's natural selection at this point. Natural selection states if you're standing there screaming for all this stuff, believing that it's actually true, okay, you've already put yourself in a pigeonhole that if we're going to do a population downgrade, then you're going to be downgraded because you don't have enough sense to see the real world. You're seeing it as you've been told it by the media. So you just have to take the Democratic side and go like, there you go. There's a selection.
Yeah,
I'll probably get into trouble for that one, but okay.
And I have relatives who are just as bad, and they will. I don't even argue with them anymore. So it's like, okay, I'll just mention my brother, for instance. Okay, so my brother tried to shame Phil and me because we didn't get the jab. Well, he got everyone that came in. I mean, it was like every time they offered it, he went like a moron and got the jab. Okay, but somehow we're the stupid ones. So his new wife let me know that he's regretted getting all those jabs because he feels terrible. He never told me. But anyway, I'm like, yeah, we're the stupid ones. Yeah, we're the ones.
Because
right?
because what they were telling you that wasn't true is actually true. That there is, therefore, it's designed to damage parts of your body and change how your body reacts to certain things. Because why did they want so many people on ventilators? Well, because they didn't understand, but that's what was killing people. It wasn't actually the COVID, because that was just a flu. It was putting them on the ventilators that was actually crystallizing their lungs and making them die. And I've got people arguing with me, good medical people, going like, well, they're on ventilators. Like, yeah, take them off the ventilators and they might survive. So this stuff has actually done damage, and you don't know what damage it's done, whether they want it so that it can, and I mean, it kills off, men producing sperm. If they want to depopulate, the easiest way to do that is just like literally emasculate all males, just like give them a chemical castration, because then you're not going to worry about the next another generation, because there won't be any, not from us.
It worked. That experiment absolutely worked.
Mm-hmm. And you look at guys now. I mean, I despair. I mean, you when you find a masculine man, they're at a certain age. Below that, it's all like hair buns and flip flops and stuff. It's just very, very weird.
Yeah, okay. Can we talk about this? Because I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce here in Abbeville, South Carolina. I love Abbeville. It's a wonderful place. You got to come visit sometime. I mean, the people here are so friendly. The Chamber of Commerce is just welcoming you in. I mean, it's a whole lot of fun. I've met all the neighbors, even though we all live out in the country. They've all come by just to introduce themselves to just really, really nice people. So we had a Chamber of Commerce function, and it was at the tech center. I've always been into tech jobs. My dad was a tech jobs kind of a person. We never starved to death. We always had meat at the table, always wore nice clothes. We were not millionaires, but we were okay. I mean, growing up, we didn't have to fight for food. But they were talking about about the people who are still hung up on I've got to have a degree, and some of the parents they're talking about the stigma of it. And I'm like, what stigma?
Yep.
I mean, we were okay growing up. So is working with your hands is actually okay. And back before, before the Industrial Revolution, it's like everybody owned the business. It was little cottage businesses all over the place, and people had their specialty. It was kind of like that, but you don't have to have a degree.
No, and you still don't.
Yeah, but you can do this. This is something I learned in tech school. Okay, let's say the smartest kids are the ones who do this while they're in high school. Okay, so you can go ahead, go to the tech school. You can actually be taking college classes. You can get an associate's degree, walk across the stage, get the high school diploma, and then get your 2-year degree that same night. And it's paid for. Your parents are not out. You're partying around trying to figure out what you want to be for 2 years. I mean, you got it figured out. And then there are a lot of companies who will actually, if you decide you want to go get your master's and you want to work for it, there are a lot of companies who will pay for that because they really want smarter, intelligent employees.
Yeah. The problem is that everybody was sold this dream that if you have a degree, and it just has to be a degree, then you can earn this amount of money. If you have a higher degree, it's this amount of money. If you have this, it's more money. The problem is some of the degrees that people are getting are absolutely worthless in the real world. I mean, if you're going to get a degree, get something that's relevant to the workplace, relevant to the world today. One in tech, one in business management, something that's going to work for you. One is in arts. It's not going to do anything for you. Any of the stupid ones that you hear about, you go like, why did you do that? Because it's just an instant degree. All the degree is really is with someone that you can go to somewhere for X amount of years and see something through. Okay, that's the kind of the premise. But going back to the working with the hands, you can actually go out, get a trade, get a skill, and earn really good money from the get-go. And it only gets better the more skills you get. Take, for instance, HVAC. How many people need HVAC engineers? Because everybody in the South wants a HVAC engineer when they need one. And just to call one out is $100. I mean, last time I paid was $109 just to call out. Then it's $200 to clean this little bit of pipe, and another $200 to this. $900 for Freon. And these guys are getting paid by the hour, and they're getting paid really, really well. It's because it's a skill. So you're better off actually going off and getting a trade to work with your hands. And
what did I go to college for? Because I was really good with numbers, and I represented the school in math contests and stuff like that, and I won. So I was told by people, come to the school and talk with you about your career. I was told that I would be a really good accountant, based on my math skills and that kind of thing. So I thought, well, they know what they're talking about. And so I went to class for that. But I have never been an accountant. I would have hated it. I mean, but so I'm not doing anything I went to college for.
No, but you find your niche as well. I mean, not saying that it can't help you, because what you did, I mean, obviously you have a head for figures.
It helped me in business,
which is always going to be great for you in business, but it doesn't mean that you have to be an accountant. My dad went through accountancy. He was an accountant, and he wanted to go do what his dad done. So he was driving buses. Did he make as much money? No, but he was happy doing that. He wanted to do that. So again, it's not always about making as much money as you can. It's about doing something that you feel, one, satisfies you as a human being, is a valuable thing for the community. I mean, even if I know a lot of the people around me, what the guys do is they drive the school buses. And the reason why they do that is really smart, because that gives them health insurance.
Very smart.
So they're farmers. They're making good money with what they do with the animal processing, whether it be beef, whether it be chickens. But they're also working doing the bus drive, which is a part-time job, and they're getting their health insurance paid for. So again, life is all about making smart decisions, and sometimes you don't have to have the big degrees. I mean, I have people here telling me I've got a degree. I was talking to one the other day, and she was insisting that she tell me about her degrees, and she has a master's in, whatever. And I'm like, okay, great. And she said, who are you? So I told her my name. I told her what I did. I said, no, I don't have a degree. I said, so everything I'm talking about now is what I've learned. And she kept interrupting me. I said, first of all, I said, don't interrupt me when I'm trying to tell you. I said, you have a problem. I said, I want to know your problem and I can fix your problem. I said, if you keep interrupting me, I can't fix your problem. So the first thing you have to learn is listen, don't interrupt. Okay? You have a degree. Can you understand that? Because I'd already listened to her talk to somebody else and on loudspeaker. So I knew exactly what she was going to say. I knew exactly where her attitude was. And then she realized that I was on that call and I'd listened to everything. And she waited an hour to call me back. But she was trying to push that whole, I've got a degree. It doesn't bother me. I can use big words just like you can. Mm-hmm. Probably bigger words.
Well, see, my dad didn't have a degree either. And I know people who did have degrees that didn't make the money he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you don't need a degree. I mean, my stepson from a previous marriage, he went to Auburn, and Auburn had looked at him when he was at high school, so just before he was in high school, because of his grades. They tracked him all through high school, and then when he went to take his SATs, they changed the way that they graded it, so he was kind of out of their realm, and so he went and actually interviewed with Alabama. And Alabama were going to take him. So the two big schools in Alabama itself wanted him, which is, in itself huge. Mm-hmm. So he really wanted to go to Auburn, but he said, okay, well, I'll settle for Alabama. And then Auburn went back on and changed their thing. So he went to Auburn. He graduated, not last year, the year before, as a geologist. Walked straight into a job in Nevada on a gold mine, starting pay of like $100,000 a year. And it's like, I said to myself, I'm so proud of you, because he did the one thing he wanted to do, which was get out of Alabama and go, discover his life. He's getting married this year. I mean, he's just bought a house. So his life's set for him because he picked something he wanted to do. He always wanted to be a geologist, but he's straight into a gold mine, $100,000 a year. That's how you do it. If you're going to do a degree, get a degree that works for you, and then when you leave school, there's a job waiting for you that pays good money.
I know somebody, though, who went to Air State Technical College, and so he's a welder. Well, of course, he's not living here. He's living somewhere out at the Gulf. And so he is an underwater welder, doesn't even have a degree, making way over $100,000 a year.
Yeah, probably makes loads of money, because that's a specialized skill. I know one of the girls, the girl that I used to bail bond with, her two sons, they went through, one went through Jacksonville State, the other one went through the local college in Coleman or in Huntsville, and then ended up at Jacksonville State. Both of them now work for one of the local police departments as CSIs, and they're super smart, and that's what they wanted to do. They knew what they wanted to do. They wanted to go be cops, but they wanted to do crime scene investigation. And so good luck to them. Again, they went and done it. They followed their path and their track, and they did good.
Yeah,
I think most of it
chose the right thing, though. So they chose the right thing.
When
I know people who actually took acting at Jack State, and I'm like, okay, why would you take acting at Jack State?
Yeah, because there's no guarantees with acting. I mean, acting is just purely on how you look, what they're looking for. Do you fit in? There's so many variants in that. There's no guarantees. Whereas, like, if you're good at what you do, and you choose a job like those two, who and the eldest one actually was quarterback for Coleman. I mean, they thought he was going to college to play football, and he was like, no. When he was at high school and he was done, his body had already been like smashed to pieces, and he said, I don't want to play football anymore. But he focused on what he wanted to do. He wanted to be a crime scene investigator, and he did it. So again, pick something that is going to work for you. Don't pick something that's not. I mean, an acting degree, I mean, that's pointless. You'd be better off.
You're going to wind up in, Hollywood anyway. Why don't you just take classes there? Just move to Hollywood. I mean, why are you doing it in Jack State? I never got that one.
Well, even if you do, I mean, I considered doing like film production, so that you learn everything about film production, from like, you know, writing scripts to presenting it to, you know, actually making a movie, from sound editing, all of that. So when you've got all of that, you know, then you can be someone like, say, for instance, Clint Eastwood, who, you know, was an actor, but then he's gone on to make, and as a director, he's actually really, really good. He makes some really, really good movies.
Yeah.
So again, it's just picking the right thing. As an actor, just going to do an acting degree will just limit you to just acting. Whereas if you do the whole gamut, if acting doesn't work out, you've got something else that you could do because you have an understanding of the whole business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that brings me to something else too. People who want to start at the top of the job. I want to be the VP. I want to be, you know, whatever. When you don't even know what it's like. To me, there's something about starting at the bottom of a company where you can, I mean, because you're going to know how to be a great, effective boss. You'll know how to communicate because you've actually held that position.
Yeah. We get people all the time. I get people all the time telling me, "Oh, I could do your job." You go, "Oh, yeah, okay, you probably could, but probably not very well, because you don't understand the scope of my job." But the other thing is we have people, like even on this job, I just got one the other day, and I'm like, "Did he bring? Did he bring a computer?" No. So why is he on this job if he didn't bring a computer? Because now he's actually no good to me. He doesn't have a computer. Then he looks at documents. "Oh, I'm not too sure about these documents." So again, why are you sending him to me as this, and he doesn't understand this? This is all part of what he's supposed to be doing. So again, I'm trying to tell these, but like you have to make smarter choices. Send me people that can actually just slot in and work in the system that we've got, and not these people who are needy. "Oh, I need a computer. Oh, I need this. Oh, I need that." Because, you know, a week down the road, he's still not going to be set up to do what I want him to do, and that creates a problem, because now I'm having to either get somebody else to fill in for that position while he's catching up to speed, or I'm actually doing it myself.
I'll tell you something I thought was pretty interesting too. Is we were living in Anniston. This was in the 80s, and I used to own a Snelling headhunter type business. And so we were trying to build up, because I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and we were constantly trying to build up Calhoun County, you know, and I was part of that, and I had a lot of fun doing it. But the guy who owned the newspaper, Brant Ayers, on the front page of the newspaper, okay, this is you couldn't hide it somewhere in another section. Anniston, Alabama was named as the most murderous city in the United States per capita. I mean, we were number one. So I guess he just wanted us to be number one at something. So anyway, I met the guy. He was kind of like, you know, strange. But anyway, so our whole point to him was, why are you doing that? Why did you put that on the front page? Wouldn't that have been a story you would have buried in the back somewhere? I mean, we're trying to promote it, and here you are the owner of the newspaper, and you put that one on the front page. You're proud
Again,
of it?
Yeah, no, it's the thing is with newspapers and news in general, is they always want the sensational, because the sensational always outsells and outranks
That's something to be ashamed
mundane, what the customer. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is something that you would be ashamed of, and it would be something that you wouldn't want to put on the front page. But again, they're thinking, well, you know, this is big news and we'll sell lots of papers. Well, I mean, that's going to backfire on you, because it's not. People don't want to know that. People don't want to know that where they live is associated with like this highest murder per capita.
It's like the Democrats with the Ferguson deal. Okay, so they have everybody burning down buildings, running off with TVs, stealing stuff, all kinds of stuff. And tennis shoes, by the way. Why do you steal tennis shoes? Why is that one? I would steal jewelry if I want to steal something, not tennis shoes. But anyway, okay, so now the town of Ferguson, the city of Ferguson, do you think they have an easy time getting businesses to want to locate to the town of Ferguson?
No. The thing is there's only there's certain things that would attract a business to open up in, you know, your town, your city. And, you know, when Coleman was dry, no one wanted to go there because they wouldn't make any money, because one, people don't go to Coleman. They didn't go to Coleman to spend money because they couldn't buy a drink. they also had lots of people doing DUIs. So when they decided to do the vote on going where, there was all these, I had law enforcement going like this, the DUIs are going to increase. I said, actually, they will decrease. And they're going, why is that? I said, well, because you haven't got idiots driving 20 miles to go over the border to another county to get alcohol, and then driving back, they can't wait to get home, so they start drinking in the car. I said, it actually did drop because people could just go to the liquor store, get home, and then drink without having that long journey. The other thing that they noticed was revenue went up because, it's all taxed. The town, they're all making money. The county are making money. So, okay, so we're going to keep this now because now we're making money. Also, what happened is businesses wanted to come in because they wanted a slice of that pie. They could see. So more restaurants wanted to come in there and open up because they knew that they could sell alcohol, they could make money. So it's like a knock-on effect. When you make positive decisions, they could be as negative as you think, but if it's a positive decision for your city and you make it, it actually increases business. When you make a negative decision, like, we're going to tell them this, well, you've just killed the business straight away because no one's going to want to come there because they're going to, there's enough news out there. And I know people in England who go, I never want to go to America because it's so violent. You go, well, I live here and it's not as bad as you think. Even the LA thing, it's in a little small contained area. It's not the whole city. It's just in a contained area. And people go like, well, LA's burning. No, LA's not burning down. Just this area where they're burning cars and looting and doing the stuff that they always do. But it's in a very small area.
Absolutely. And, I never murdered anybody, even though I actually lived for a very long time in the murder capital of the USA. Okay, per capita. Small town. Let's go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a minute. Everybody hang in there. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
We're back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone, as I get right on with you in the afternoon. Continue sending emails. I really treasure those. I have Rick Staines with me, been a friend for a long, long time, and it's good to be with you again, Rick.
It's always good to be on your show. Disappearing from work to come up here and do your show in my hotel room.
Yay!
My little break from the normal
from reality.
The reality. Yeah.
From reality. Okay, let me ask you a question, and this pertains to Trump and Elon Musk. Do you feel like this was some kind of a setup between the two, this little feud they were having, or were they really in a feud?
It wouldn't surprise me if they were, but it also wouldn't surprise me if it was just a little bit of a setup, because the thing with the left is that anything that's Trump, they're going to go with anything that's against Trump. So it'd be a feather in Elon's cap and Trump's cap, to be honest with you, if the left decided that they liked Elon because he doesn't like Trump. You know, so you have to watch the the stuff now, because I mean, some of it's he's playing chess while they're playing checkers, so you don't know if it's real or if it's not. You know, there's lots of stuff that goes on that we don't always realize what they're doing and why they're doing it until it's done. But you know, the people that follow blindly always follow blindly, and will always put out bad information for their followers to follow blindly.
Yeah, but think about this. The first thing out of Elon's mouth was about the list. Okay, so they've been trying to expose this list, Elon Trump. They've been trying to expose this list for a long time. So what if they had this meeting? That sounds like a meeting you and I would have. Like we go, hey, you know what? I know, Rick, how we can get that list out. Why don't we get mad at each other and you say my name's on that list? That's why, blah, 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 blah. That sounds like something you and I would
But the thing is, we knew Trump was on that list a long time ago. Even before he got elected, his name was on that list. Didn't say that he was at the island. He just said he was on that list. And, he obviously had met with or seen with Epstein, but he was never at the island. If there was any evidence that he'd been on the island, I guarantee you that would have been brought up and raised and pushed on the election. And it hasn't been.
Long time ago.
So again, we're in a situation where they've got some news, and it's not really news because we've already been there, done that, seen that it's not real. So and that's why it kind of died a death, because it was like a couple of days and then it just died a death, because it was like irrelevant, even if he was on the list, in what capacity? He wasn't actually at the parties. So again, chess as opposed to checkers.
And
It
it does it every time. So I haven't heard anything about them now. Are they still in the feud?
Again, who knows? And who cares? Even if they were, it's not, okay, so they go, well, he was having, he's moaning about Trump going on with Epstein. Irrelevant. If it was relevant, it would have been brought up before the election, during the election, and would have been like a reason why he wouldn't have been able to be elected. Like everything else.
So if you were on the left side and that story came out, I mean, wouldn't you be thinking, look, I thought we've been through this. Apparently he's not on it, or we wouldn't be elected. He most certainly wouldn't have had a first time.
Right. And you kind of got a little run on it, and then it died to death because, again, there is some sense on that side where they just go like, hang on a sec. One, it's not gaining any traction, and it's not really going anywhere because we already know that he was here but not really there. So, again, it's people trying to stir up stuff and get things moving. And even with like the stuff now in New York with the 34 felonies, and it went to the appellant court, and the 5 appellant judges turned around and said, no, okay, we're going to throw this one out, and basically went after the lawyers of the people that were trying to help. So now it's going to end up backfiring. He'll get away with it, or he'll get off of those felony charges. And you look at Letitia Dean, whatever her name is, Letitia, she is the one now, because she did a deal that she was trying to charge Trump for, overvaluing property and using, the forces that be to make more money. So hopefully because they won't even mention her name now. They don't even say that. The defendant or the subject, they don't use her name. Which is kind of funny.
I just find it all fascinating. That you could actually, be a Democrat and actually fall for this stuff. I mean, it's like over and over and over again, and none of it sticks. So when do you reach a point that, like, look, let's just let him be president, for goodness sakes, 3 more years, and then be done with it, and we'll find somebody. Maybe we can find somebody within the Democrat Party who could beat him. I mean,
well, the thing is, and I agree to a certain extent, but the trouble is, I know some very smart people that are on the Democratic side, and you can have conversations with them. I've had conversations with them, and then there are other people that are super smart too that you can't converse with. Every time they talk, they have to do the whole MAGA thing, MAGA this, MAGA that, Trump this, Trump that. Totally deranged. it would be nice if you could just sit down and talk through some stuff with people, but they just don't want to listen. And it just seems continual. I mean, you talk about that, they'll ask them, well, who was the greatest president? And Obama was always like, comes up as like their top president. And you're like, first of all, they just established. I mean, they have established, as we knew even back then, that his birth certificate was forged. He was born in Kenya.
Even know
He wasn't a legitimate president. We know that. And we're like, okay, well, he was an illegitimate president. So basically, anything that he brought in should be just like, oh, yeah, okay, don't stand. The only thing and that they go on, well, because he was black, and two, first black president, and he was a very good orator. Well, he was very good at talking because he was a lawyer. And the thing about lawyers is, you guarantee them, as good or bad, if they're opening their mouth, they're either talking good stuff or bad stuff. And unfortunately, he took a lot of bad stuff, And then, you can go into all the other stuff that he did during his presidency that was bad for this country. And he was not even supposed to be president under the rules and guidelines they were supposed to follow. But again, they ignore that.
Well, another thing that's been ignored, and I'm going to get back to the Epstein files again, and this is, and we've actually seen evidence of this. There was actually a picture of Bill Clinton with a blue dress on with heels, and he's lounging in some kind of a lounge. And that's actually a picture that was at Epstein's place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hear them talking very much about that. I don't know of a picture with Trump with a blue dress on with red heels.
You can guarantee one thing: Hillary was mad that it fit him.
What is happening to that old woman, by the way? She was supposed to be the president, and it didn't happen. So is she still going at it? She won't stop.
Well, because again, they're almost like a crime family. With all the stuff, all the money that they push through the Clinton Foundation, and they've abused, and we know about it, and the left know about it, but the left think again that the Clintons are wonderful because they did all this wonderful things. It's like, yeah, but they've also done a lot of bad things. I'm not saying that Trump is perfect. It's not. But you've also got to look at everybody and think, well, okay, what's in your closet? What are you hiding? Because they're hiding more than they're telling, and we know that. And, the fact that if she was president, all the things that they are anti now, where they say, well, Trump's going to do this, Trump's going to change it so that he can stay in power and be, or never voted out. And you go like, yeah, that's what you're thinking. Not what we're thinking. It's not what he's thinking. It's what you're thinking, because that's how you play the game. You project, oh, yeah, you're doing this, you're doing that. When they're pointing fingers, you know that whatever they're pointing the finger about and to whom, is that they're doing it themselves.
I think what's so interesting too, though, is when Biden was president of the United States. I mean, it was so evident before he was even voted in. It was evident there was something wrong with him. I mean, there was some kind of an issue going on. We all could see that, but these people still won't admit it. And then some of them who are admitting it are playing shocked. It's like,
yeah,
no. And these are people who were with him every single day. You can't tell me that of every single day being with that man that you couldn't have seen more than we were seeing.
Right. And the biggest thing about Biden is if you were sensible, which most of us were, you looked at his political history and realized that he'd been in politics big portion of his life and done absolutely nothing but bad things. Mm-hmm. Voted things in or brought in bad bills or just vetoed other things. And done just bad things as a politician. You go like, why would you want that man to lead the country? The reason being is, I think what it was is because they knew that he was a little bit wacko and that he could be easily manipulated. I don't think he knew anything about the last probably year and a half, 2 years of his presidency.
Not either.
He didn't sign documents. They had people signing documents for him. And I think that Obama was running this country from the back, which is what he always wanted to do, which is why he never moved out of the Washington, because he knew because he actually said it on a record video, where he said, if I could run the country from from the basement, I would. And that's what happened, I believe.
I do too. I do too. And then there, his girls. One of the girls wants to be a movie producer or something. She's even stolen ideas from somebody else, and all that's been found out about. But she wants to change her name.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see
And
the
you
point.
think that's why?
We already know what your new name is
Well,
going to be.
Well, you know, I mean, obviously, we all know about the story about, you know, Michelle, Michael, you know, the possibilities, all of that stuff. You know, the extra appendage that's still there, you know, sexual orientation of the former president, you know, and again, you know, what was her name? I can't think of her name. She actually said it on recording, and then literally.
Oh yeah, Joan Rivers.
Joan
And then
Rivers.
she's seriously dead.
And she was seriously dead a few days.
The first trans
Because she said,
president.
but-
Who cares? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you ever think we have it? And she said, well, we've got one already. Just ask him. And, you know, crazy things happen. Crazy things happen to crazy people. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that, you know, when people find out, when it eventually comes true, which it always does, it always comes true. You know, the Kennedy stuff. But, you know, you look at it, we all knew that it wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald. If you looked at the evidence and realized we all knew, and then they release it and you go like, yeah, it wasn't, it was CIA. Then they released the stuff about Martin Luther King, you know, and again, he's just a P. Diddy in disguise from way back then. You know, he wasn't as clean cut and as nice as he was, because this is what happens. It's why things get buried, because they, you know, even Rosa Parks did not sit on that bus. She did not give up her seat. It happened. Okay. Rosa Parks and her husband actually owned a car. And it was another person but they just used Rosa Parks because it was convenient for them. So again, you have to go digging and look at all of this stuff that they throw out there and go, like, did this really happen? And most of the time it didn't.
My grandmother always said this. She would say, you know, people have to talk about themselves and say they did certain things. You can always tell it's a lie. I mean, when you have to be the one to promote something like that, it's probably a lie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And then when you make
You know,
decisions based on emotion, I'll have to tell you some of the dumbest decisions I have ever made in my lifetime, or when I didn't think with my smarts up here and I thought with emotion. I have made so many dumb decisions made that, and so that's what the whole Democratic Party is about. Let's talk about how you feel. Okay, you're trans, you're being beat up on by MAGA people, and actually we're not beating up on anybody. They're the ones who are doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we now live. I mean, we get it here. You get people. They're very entitled. They're very entitled because they've never been told no. I had a lady the other day. She was moved. We have to keep moving hotels because obviously, you know, with the way that things change in the city and businesses, conventions, you know, events coming, and we have to move hotels. So we take a bunch of people, we move them to another hotel. So she was moved back to a hotel. She didn't like the room she had. Perfectly normal, big room, a very, very nice hotel, but she wanted one up on an upper floor because she said, I feel very claustrophobic. And her coordinator said, no, we're not doing that. So then she argues with him, and then she comes over to my hotel and she wants to talk to me, but she's talking to the coordinator here who can't help her. Then she talks to my deputy project manager, and he says it's not going to happen. So she wants to talk to me. Well, by the time I came back to my hotel, she'd gone, and because she was told, you know, if you want to see Rick, it's going to be no. And I'm going to go like, look, first of all, you can't. If you were told no by the person that actually has control over what you do, and then you seek the same thing from somebody else, and then somebody else, and then somebody else, that's disruption. I can fire you because you're wasting time. It's not going to change anything, you know. And we have this all the time. So it's like they have all these stories they make up where they've got bed bugs. We had people saying they had bed bugs, but they'd never seen a bed bug, but they had bed bugs, right? They sat there and told me about the migratory systems that they get from one place to another. I'm like, okay. They said, but we've never seen a bed bug. We don't know what they look like. So you've just destroyed your argument, because if you don't know what it looks like, how can you understand how they migrate? You've never even seen one. The picture you're actually showing me is of a bug, not a bed bug. And the easy way to do a bed bug is go to the corner of your room, corner of your bed, get the iron, hit it up, put it on there, hold it on there for a little while, and then lift up the covers, and you'll see them. They'll be clumped. I said, and there'll be thousands of them, absolutely thousands of them, but they're tiny, tiny little things.
So why
So
would
we have
somebody
to-
do that? I guess I don't understand. So why would you do that? I mean,
Because normally they want to move to another hotel. Because so we have, say for instance, we have 4 hotels, and all of different. We don't guarantee a star rating or anything. So if they perceive one hotel, we had one hotel that had the kitchens. Okay, I'm not going to mention the name. They had the kitchens, so that was a very nice hotel. Everybody wanted to go there. So what they do is they try and force the move by saying, well, I've got bed bugs. My room's too cold. The AC doesn't work. If it's not one thing, it's another. I keep coughing. And so, okay, so we have to investigate it. We can't just do something. We have to investigate it. We had one woman flood, but she didn't flood it herself. She had a leak, but she decided not to report the leak from the AC unit, just put a towel on the floor for 5 days. When we were called up there to go check the room out, because it had gone down into the room below and into the room to the side, you could literally walk on the carpet and you could feel how wet it was, because the water was just like push across. So we lost 3 rooms out of that, and that we're going to have to pay for it. And the hotel said, we want her gone. So we had to fire her, because the hotel don't want her. I'm not going to put her in another hotel. And this is just like everyday occurrences with us, you know. They don't understand. They don't even pay for the room, we do, and they want to make demands. We're like, well, actually, it's our room, not your room. And they go like, really? I'm like, yeah. If you look, it's our room. Your name is on there only because we put it on there, but we pay for it. It's just the company. But yeah, anything to try and get over to another hotel. And then when we do that, they don't want to stay there. They want to families. They want to go over here. They want to bed with this one, but they don't want to travel from this one. So it messes up all of our transportation and everything. So we have to start making decisions, and normally it's getting sent home.
you know, I blame parents for a lot of this. Now, believe me, okay, because my family growing up was not perfect at all. Okay, so you can get out of that and you can change it. You can change your life to be whatever you want it to be. You do not have to be like your parents. But what I find interesting is, like, okay, when Phil and I got married, I said, now look, my parents were like, so when I tell Brad he can't, and he's going to try because he's a teenager, I said, so when I say he can't do something, I expect you to say it too. Okay, whether and I'll do the same for you, whether I agree with it or not. If you say no, he can't, I'm going to go along with it. So I'm going to figure you got a good reason. So Brad comes whistling downstairs and he says, hey, Mom, can I do so-and-so, so-and-so? And I said, nope, you're too young. You can't go. He was like 15. So I listened to him. He goes to Phil and he said, hey, Phil, I want to go so-and-so, so-and-so. So Phil said, did you ask your mom? And he said, yeah. And he said, what did your mom say? He said, Mom said no. And he said, well, then, son, it's no. So we took care of that. So if Brad were to ever want to go work for you guys, he's going to be happy with whatever you dish out there to him, because there's none of this going up the chain of command.
No, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. We watched an incident the other night because there was a group of there were a hockey team, junior hockey team, kids, and they were running riot in the whole hotel. So like Friday, Saturday night, running riot. Saturday night, the parents were sitting down in the lobby. They brought out like the chairs where they go normally to the games and everything, sitting out in the lobby with coolers, drinking in lobby area. If you went up to the 10th floor, along the 10th floor outside their rooms, they had all these chairs and coolers and let the kids running up and down there. So no, if you were on the 10th floor, you were screwed because it was noisy. And then they went down to the lobby and they were actually swearing and shouting at the hotel staff that they had to call the police. I was kind of thankful because it wasn't us. It wasn't any of our people. So I was like, this is kind of cool because it's not us for a change. Yeah. But you just look at the kids and you go, this is bad for them. I mean, you've got mothers with babies in their arms, toddlers in their arms, swearing and shouting at these people. And they're just like, you're doing it in front of your kids. What are you showing them? And that's what we're dealing with today, is entitled people who think that it's okay to carry on demanding, swearing and shouting until they get what they want, or trying to see the next person. I was watching the girl today in Starbucks. She said something to the manager, and the manager said, well, I am the manager. She goes, well, I want to see somebody who is higher up than you. Okay, well, it's upstairs. You go upstairs to the hotel. That's where. And I'm like, because it was my turn next, I'm like, I do apologize for that young lady. And she goes, oh, they're just kids. They're just stupid. Holding up the line, just being stupid. She goes, we had one girl banned from there because 4 days in a row they got a drink wrong, apparently. So 4 days in a row. After that they were like, no, you're banned. So she come to me and I'm like, did they ban you? She went, yes. I'm like, well, you can't go in there. Go get your coffee somewhere else. So they don't want you. I said, they're perfectly within their right to do that. You've been disruptive. You're disrupting their business, and you're on 4 free drinks right now. So you're not going to get any more.
You know something? I learned a very long time ago, you treat everybody with respect. That's from the receptionist of a company on up. So I had this guy, I was working with GTE. This guy wants to ride with me out in the field to see how I'm making this success, how I'm doing all this. And I said, I swear to God, there's nothing, anybody can do what I do. And he said, no, you do. I just want to see what you do. And I said, nothing. He said, well, go ahead and set up 3 appointments. I just want to see your technique. I said, okay. Well, I had 3 appointments for him, but they were not for new business. It was to go over the billing of GTE service, because you have to practically hire an accountant to figure out what it is. Okay. So first things first, we were sitting in the lobby. I had talked to the receptionist. The receptionist and I were good friends by this point. I always made eye contact with the receptionist. To me, they were the ones who actually knew everything going on in that company. They were the ones you want to be friends with to initialize the whole thing. So this guy comes in and he's a salesman. Well, he won't even look at her in the eyes. So he comes in and he says, I want to see your CEO about blah, 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 whatever it is, like that. And she said, sorry, sir, you'll have to make an appointment for that. And he said, I want to see her. I want to see him now. And she said, no, he goes by appointments only. Well, see, he was like, she was so beneath him, as a receptionist. And then he walks out and she looked over at me and she said, do you want to know why you got to go in and see the CEO the first time you came in here? And I said, why? And she said, because you treated me like I was something. People don't realize that, guys. I'm just telling you, we're going to have to call it a day, but I'm just telling you, you need to treat everybody with respect. From the receptionist, treat the janitor with respect. You never know, that janitor's son may be the CEO and he's just killing time sweeping the floor.
Totally agree with you. I have new coordinators here. They're all old ladies. They could actually be Women's Institute in the UK, make cakes, do sewing, knitting and stuff like that, but they do an awesome job. And I know them all by name, and I go talk to them, and they love the fact that I'm calling them by their name, talking to them, treating them like they're of value to me. And that's the people want. They want to be recognized and have some value, and that's all it is. Even if they know their position, but they know that if you're coming in and you're calling them by their name and you're treating them nice, even a little bit of small talk makes their day. It makes everything. And then they go like, oh, he's a nice chap. Well, she's a nice lady, and that's how you get where you went.
Absolutely. It's no big, huge secret. It's not. I mean, you just treat people with respect. That's all there is to it.
And it don't cost you a penny. That's the main thing. It doesn't cost you a penny.
Didn't take me that much time to get business. Not because I was all that great. It's because I treated everybody with respect. Guys, we're going to have to call it a day. Rick, thank you so much for being with me. It's always a treat. Always appreciate it every single time we talk. Hang around and get you set up for next month. And thank you guys so much for watching. Continue sending emails. You don't know how that makes my day. When I hear from you guys, it just elevates me. Thank you so much. See you guys later. Bye-bye.